What's going on, y'all? Uh, just before we get into the podcast, I want to tell y'all that we're moving the podcast release date to Tuesdays. It will be releasing a Tuesday at about 5 in the a.m. Um, Again, I want to say thank you to everybody who subscribed so far. If you're not, please hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment, share it with your friend. We appreciate y'all so much. And yeah, that's all I got for you. So get y'all into the episode. Welcome to the Two Tone Podcast. My name is Jaylen Kell, aspiring musician. If you want to check out my music and such forth, linktree.com/JAK Productions. But off the top, I just wanted to say thank you for subscribing. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. It's free, we appreciate y'all. But anyways, alongside me, as always,
Theo.
how you doing this week, kid?
I'm doing.
How you been?
Living life.
What you been up to over the past week? You been doing anything interesting? Not even necessarily in creative space, but what you been up to other than working? We know you've been working.
I've been working on the script for the new film that I'm working on. Got in contact with some people that are pursuing film career and plan on helping them with their film that they're making.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about it. Kyle hooked you up with some. I don't remember exactly the relation between him and Kyle, but he hooked you up with somebody he knew that's trying to get into film.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't him. It was one of Kyle's. I don't know if Kyle follows them on like Instagram, but I don't.
But he's from Indy.
It was a female that he got me in contact with,
Oh.
but she's like helping promote a film for this high school kid,
Interesting.
and I got in contact with them, and
Well, what would you even be doing? Like you just kind of like a helping hand on set, or are you more like a behind the scenes, within the story of the
I'd be a helping hand behind the scenes
kind of like
person.
Hold mic, help frame scenes or whatever.
Yeah.
That could be interesting. Have you coming up with a name for the new one that you're doing?
It's called Unknown right now, but it might change.
Interesting. I'm about to say, I remember you telling me it was kind of like an Oppenheimer inspired kind of film.
Yeah, I mean, this film is just more me testing out the waters and practical effects and stuff.
Right.
And like trying to make effects without CGI, basically.
Right. Just trying to figure out a way that you can make something look almost animated without having to do all that, all the work and shit for it. I can totally understand that. I'm about to say, I always think back to our episode with Kyle when he was like, just use the shorts as like an experiment before you write your first full length.
Use it as the sketch before the painting.
Yeah. I really like that analogy you came up with. Use it as a sketch before you start painting. Because oh shit, sorry. But I feel like there's a lot of times in a lot of media, when people look back on the media that they make, whatever kind of be movies or music, they kind of sometimes tend to look back and be like, oh, there's this I would have changed about it now that I know how to do XYZ,
Yeah.
But just kind of build your chops up through experience and experimentation, Really interesting concept to think about. I never really thought about it that way, But in a way, I kind of do it that way, I release singles and stuff that are kind of more experimental, more outside of my wheelhouse, and then the full album is kind of more in-depth dive on that. Anyways, very interesting stuff. I forget what I was gonna ask you. Oh, if you or anybody is interested in being an actor slash behind the scenes person, go ahead and hit up Theo at Glasshouse Films 8 on Instagram, and y'all get into a conversation about what's going on and what's happening. Also, youtube.com/@glasshousefilms8 for TT's first short film that he's worked on, The Night Shift. So, do you think that Unknown will be made before Necronomicon?
Yeah. Necronomicon is more. It's a bigger step than the first film, but I wrote it after the first film because
Right.
Necronomicon it's gonna need multiple actors and like multiple hands on set and stuff. So
Right. I feel like that was a big problem with getting that one to come to fruition. You know, you had a lot of actors, a lot of I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing to have a lot of different characters in your story and stuff. It's just
hard to find.
Yeah, the feasibility, if that's a word, of finding enough people to want to act in your short, you know. But anyways, enough about us. I want to say thank you one more time for subscribing, and let's get on into it. And welcome back to the Two Tone Podcast. So, you've been up to writing and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So, I can say sometimes from my experience when I start working on something new, I tend to have ideas about like other new shit, you know.
Same.
I'll start working on a song and then I'll be like, oh shit, that sound is cool, and be like, it doesn't really fit in this song, but I could use it in something else, you know. I feel like that's a big problem with me, especially in finishing a project. You know, I'll have 6 songs that are like 75% done, but then you know, just take forever to get back to working on them and shit. But
I feel.
Do you find that to be a problem in the creative space?
Yeah, definitely. Just like in general, I have all these ideas for films and stuff, and writing one film will make me think of something, and then I'll go and start another script, and it's just like I kind of need to finish this one, but you know,
I can totally understand that. I feel like especially with depending on the length of the short that you're writing, I feel like spending months and months and months on it would just kind of bore you with the, not necessarily you know, I'm just saying like in general, but
yeah.
In my experience, like especially with like physical art, with painting and stuff. Excuse me, got all sorts of gas. But especially with physical art like painting and stuff like that, I feel like the longer I spend on a piece, the more I don't like it, you know. I'm just sitting there for hours, just this far from the canvas, you know, 6 inches from the canvas, just painting and painting and painting, and you step back and you're like, I just spent 6 hours on this and I fucking hate it.
So
you
true.
know. And I feel that's a lot of what happens with my paintings and stuff. But recently I've kind of moved to more like abstract kind of, you know, set a timer for 5 minutes and whatever you make, that's what it is. I'm definitely not one of those people that can spend hours on something.
I mean, like, I kind of want to be. I kind of want to. I want to take more time in making and writing scripts and stuff, but I also like. The reason I want to take so long in them is because I don't like. I have this idea that I'll be like like something will happen where one of my films will explode and then become popular. So I'm trying to make the film as best as possible right away. When it's just like, let me take a step back and just make what I want to, without like forcing it. Just
Right. You gotta figure out what you want to make, not what the people want to see.
yeah,
You know, they don't know what they want until they see it, and then they want it. That kind of sentiment. But anyways, it was just something I was thinking about right before we came back into the podcast. Wanted to bring that up. But anyways, let's get on into the topics that we got so far. So what you want to do? You wanna hop into the topics? You wanna hop into the film or the album of the week? What you wanna do? What you wanna do?
album, film, topics.
Okay. So the album of the week. I gotta switch to TT real quick so y'all can see the picture. Oh, y'all can't see nothing because it's all the white balance is terrible on the camera. But anyways, the album of the week, y'all can see a little better there. The album of the week is Melophobia by Cage the Elephant. So we were listening to it a little bit before we started the podcast. What's your opinion on Cage the Elephant? Are you very versed in Cage the Elephant?
I wouldn't say I'm versed in them, but I know some of their songs.
So fun fact about the album cover that
Kind of reminds me of Beetlejuice, to be honest.
a little bit, yeah. So the black and white stripes going from the top to the bottom is a backdrop, and the figure, whatever you want to call it, creature looking thing, is actually a clay sculpture.
Did they take a picture of the clay sculpture, blow it up, and then?
No, they set the
Or is it just a giant?
like that's
clay
actual
sculpture?
size. So like the backdrop is 2 feet long by 5 feet wide, and then the sculpture is about, I don't know, like the size of a dinner plate, and then about 6 inches tall. So they just found this pinstripe drop cloth, and then they had an artist come in and make a whole bunch of different renderings of just a really abstract kind of creature, and out of like the 6 or 7 of them that they had created, that's the one they chose for the album cover. I think it fits it so perfectly. So
What is Melophobia mean?
I was just about to get into it, T. All right, so melophobia is the fear of music, and I don't really know too much about Cage the Elephant, like their philosophies as people and stuff. But from what I've heard, they're I saw Cage the Elephant one time in concert, and they're very fucking very wild as fucking concert. I went back in I don't know, 2016, 2017. I don't really remember when it was, but me, Kyle, Curtis, and Will went to the concert.
Are they kind of like Devo? Like
Devo?
Or yeah, Devo. Are they
No.
kind of like Devo, like when performing,
I've never seen Devo perform.
like
So
very electronic type of like movements and
No.
stuff like that?
So the lead singer of the band, who coincidentally has the quote of the week. So the quote of the week: "Our biggest struggle as human beings is to project ourselves as something that society has deemed us admirable or likable instead of being honest."
Is that the lead singer? Right there?
No, that is not the lead singer. Again, y'all can't see the picture, but if I remember, I'll put it in post. But on the top right of the screen, this is a picture I took from the concert itself. In the projection screen to the rest of the audience that's too far away to see, there's a picture of the lead guitarist from Cage the Elephant. But I ended up taking a video, and I took a couple of screen grabs from the video, and I was like, this is one of the perfect portrayals of the night. The guitarist going crazy, just everybody packed in real close. It was such a good concert. I ended up having to leave early before seeing Beck, because one of our friends had a contact lens problem, and it was about to take his whole eyeball out of his head. But Anyways, it was a really good concert. It was one of my first concerts that I went to, like out of that was like kind of far from home. You know, it's in I forget what they call it now. It was originally Deer Creek and then Ruoff and Klipsch Music Center. It's up in Noblesville. It's like 35, 40 minutes away from where I live. But it was such a good concert, man. It was such a good time. The lead singer, I'm pretty sure bro was on some drugs because bro was going ham sandwich. It was I always love when a lead singer is just like so raw with their emotions and just they're just singing a song because they fucking love this song. Like you can tell when somebody's there just to get a paycheck versus when somebody actually loves the art of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the lead singer, I've seen so many performances online and stuff, and where he's just like in the music, like he's like you couldn't do anything to phase this man from not singing a song with 110% of his heart. But anyways, the reason they named it Melophobia, sorry to trail off on a tangent there for a minute, but the reason they named it Melophobia is because they were like, people nowadays are kind of scared of making music that they can 100% stand by. People are just kind of selling out into the mainstream of making music that's popular and catchy, just coming out with hit after hit after hit. But Melophobia ended up being like one of their stable albums, and I don't know, it's one of those albums that like I came across in high school when I was like finding my own sense of music and stuff, and a couple of my homies were listening to it and they were like, bro, you gotta listen to this album, it's so good. And then I've been listening to Cage the Elephant for so long now. It's some great ass shit. All right, enough about Cage the Elephant. On to the film of the week. TT, hit him with it.
Public Enemies.
All right, so
Look at a sexy man.
it's Johnny Depp. If y'all can't tell, I'm about to say the white balance is terrible, so you can't really see shit on the TV. But
Yeah, it's
y'all get the gist. So, what made you pick Public Enemies, huh?
Well, Johnny Depp's a great actor, first of all, so that was part of the choice. But also, one of my favorite eras of time is the 1920s to between 1920s and like 1960s ish time period.
It's a pretty good time period. A lot of shit's happening.
Yep.
Goddamn, sorry. So I'd never even seen Public Enemies before, and then I ended up watching it the other day at work. It was just dead as fuck. So
Yeah,
did it really come out in 2009?
that's what it says.
That's crazy. The more you know. But yeah, I looked it up and I was like, damn, Johnny Depp and Christian Bale in a movie together.
And guy who plays Mike in what's the movie?
Not a clue.
Like all it's like a stripper movie. Magic Mike.
Channing Tatum's
Yeah,
in it?
he's in it.
When?
Plays Pretty Boy Floyd when they shoot him in the apple orchard.
Is that really?
Yeah.
The more you know. I didn't even know. That's crazy. But he was in it for like, what, 5 minutes maybe?
Yeah, 5 minutes, 2 minutes. He wasn't in there long, but he was in there.
That's crazy. I never even knew. But
by the way, this film is not based on true events.
I thought it was.
No. I mean, like, yes, these events happened, but they didn't happen the way that they.
Oh, right. It's not
show.
like exactly like.
Yeah.
It's not it's not an exact biographical.
Johnny
movie.
Depp, he plays John Dillinger, and John Dillinger was a left-handed person. Johnny Depp portrays him as a right-handed person.
Oh yeah, that's probably just because Johnny Depp's right-handed, I would assume. But like,
I think
John Dillinger was a bank robber, and he,
yeah.
you know, led this group of people around him and escaped jail and all this shit.
I also think there's like some liberties taken with some of the actions in the film, but
But
to
yeah,
each their own.
I can understand that. You know, Johnny Depp's gonna stray a little bit from the written story. I feel like inevitably, but I watched it for the first time. Was a couple days ago now, and I really enjoyed it. I'm about to say I had to pause it a couple times because I was at work.
Yeah.
But it was in my opinion like that was a really good historical like documentary style movie. I'm about to say I forget what the exact word is for it, but oh damn, it's gonna annoy the shit out of me. But anyways, it was a really interesting movie. I didn't really know anything about was it John Dillinger was his name, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about John Dillinger before watching the movie. So like even the ending was, enticing to me. I'd never really that's not really my wheelhouse when I'm looking into history is like the gangsters and mobsters and shit.
John Dillinger also died before Pretty Boy Floyd did. So this like it shows that Pretty Boy Floyd died before John Dillinger, but it's the other way around.
Interesting. Was Pretty Boy Floyd his brother or something?
No, Pretty Boy Floyd was another gangster in that time period. He was very famous for like I don't know exactly what he did, but he was famous for something.
I'm about to say in the movie he's like spoiler alert, when he gets shot, he's like the dude comes up on him and he's like, "Are you John Dillinger?" And he goes, "You got the wrong one. That's my brother." Or I forget exactly what he said. He says something about I might be misremembering it, but
Are you talking about like the apple orchard scene or like the chase
when he gets shot in the apple orchard?
Oh, so that he doesn't ask if he's John Dillinger. He says he walks up to him and he goes, "Pretty Boy Floyd, you're under arrest," or some shit like that. And he's like, "So you're the one that killed me." And he just dies right there.
I could have sworn he said something about John, but
I don't know. Maybe he did.
I might be remembering it wrong. I don't remember. It was a
but there is a chase scene when Babyface Nelson and John Dillinger are running away from the cops, and they're like in the middle of the woods, and they think that John Dillinger and Pretty Boy Floyd or not Pretty Boy Floyd, Babyface Nelson, they think that they're leaving, but it's actually two just random people. So they would like when they yell at the car to stop and everything.
Oh
and
yeah,
they shoot the car. It's not them, but then Babyface Nelson gets in a car and flees, but the head cop chases him thinking he's John Dillinger, but it's not. Babyface Nelson, and then John Dillinger gets away through a different route.
Right. I really had no idea what would even happen in the movie. Like, of course, I had heard of John Dillinger before I heard of Babyface Nelson. Just I wouldn't even want to say mobsters. Just like really famous criminals.
But there's
which one you want?
That's Lucky Luciano, the one. Go back to the.
Oh, we'll go back to this one real quick.
Yep.
So who's he?
That's Lucky Luciano. He's part of the mafia.
Was he? What's his connection to John Dillinger?
Just the same time period esque.
Gotcha.
But he's famous for like helping the mob get around and stuff.
Interesting. Who's these three guys you got pulled up?
I don't know who those were for different.
Oh, those for the okay. Gotcha. Sorry. There's another one. This one. This is the one you wanted.
That's Al Capone.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I must say I could have never told you the face
famous.
to the name.
He's a famous mafia guy.
So was Don Dillinger? Wow, my fucking dyslexic ass. So was John Dillinger?
Hey, wait, if you go back real quick, Pretty Boy Floyd.
Was he played by that guy that has like the big chin in the movie?
Big chin.
Or no, you said Pretty Boy Floyd. Was that that's the dude that got
Channing
shot in the
Tatum.
apple orchard?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's what he actually looked like.
So in the movie, who is the character that had the actor that had the really big chin? He was Red was his name.
Red. I believe that was. I think he was part of the Dillinger gang. So I think he was like the right hand man to John Dillinger.
Okay, I had a couple questions about him and
yeah.
like during the movie. Like I don't know how the fuck he got into all this. I must have missed like his connection to the story.
He started out the film with him. Not him. That's
Gotcha.
Luciano.
Gotcha. All right. Oh shit. We can go back to this one.
But yeah.
But yeah, I'm about to say as I said, I never seen it before, and I didn't really know anything about John Dillinger like as a person. So I felt like in a kind of way I was almost comparing it to like how Oppenheimer is as a historical kind of movie, you know?
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, I have some spicy takes about Oppenheimer, but it's mostly about the experience of the movie rather than the movie. Besides the fact, you know, I thought the movie was like 6 out of 10. Honestly, it was slow. It was confusing at points because the time switches and everything. But
understandable.
I digress. Anyways, on to Public Enemies. I thought it was a really well done portrayal of who Bro was as a person. You know, like
like people think that he was like this bank robber, and that's all he was like as a person. Like I feel like a lot of people they have the misconception of him of thinking of John Dillinger as like this gangster who like didn't care, so he just robbed banks and shit. But like if you watch this film, it shows like he cared more about his girlfriend in the film than he did robbing banks.
Right. That was one of the things I wanted to bring up. Like in the beginning of the movie, a confidant or whatever you want to say to John Dillinger was like, "Watch out for the ladies; they'll ruin your whole life," you know. And yeah, spoiler alert: if you haven't seen this movie, it's been fucking 13 years. Go watch it. Spoiler alert: he ends up getting fucked over in the end by his love interest, you know, and like it was one of those moments that I was like, you know, if you had just listened to that one guy about not getting involved with all these women and shit, you know, you would have been perfectly fine, you know.
You know what's funny about that?
Huh?
So the lady that gave the cops the knowledge of where he was going to be, she was asking for them to not send her back.
Right, not deport her.
Yeah, not deport her back to where she's from. And after this happened, she got $5,000 and was deported. So she did it for nothing.
That's fucked. $5,000 ain't nothing.
I mean, back then it was kind of a lot. But
I mean, yeah, I'm about to say, but $5,000 today, you know, that's what.
Especially for how much they were asking for him. Like they were asking for him for like 10,000 or something like that.
Bruh, give me 80% of the reward, and I'll lead you to him. But that's crazy. But yeah, like in the movie, you know, you kind of get a more in depth sense of who John Dillinger was as a person. You know, of course, we don't know exactly how he felt and exactly like what it was going through his mind in certain situations. Yeah. But it definitely kind of humanized the character a little bit more. You know, they kind of play it as just, you know, it's a guy that got pulled into this lifestyle and, you know, he doesn't really know anything else, you know. And, you know, of course he can't just, you know, get a regular 9-to-5 because he's a wanted criminal. And it also kind of, it showed me, you know, like how easy it was to rob a bank in
Bro, it
19
was
whatever
so
it
easy
was.
back
You
in
know,
1920s.
just
to
walk
rob
in with a
banks.
Tommy gun on the
Because
ground.
because they didn't have like what we have now with like security cameras and like
Right, they ain't got security.
identifications and
right.
shit like that.
Right.
Like in this film, they literally go through like how they started doing fingerprint testing and shit like that.
Oh yeah,
back
how
then.
the FBI and everything got all sorts of new technology just to try and catch Dillinger and shit.
It was crazy.
And
But it is a really good film.
right, it was really well done in my opinion. There was something else I was gonna say in regards to robbing the banks. I forget exactly what it was. Oh, in the movie, you know, a lot of times he'll rob a bank and then, you know, 2 days later he's just walking downtown, just
Yeah.
going to the candy shop and nobody knows he just robbed his bank a week and a half ago, you know.
Well, that's because he probably like well, back then like they would rob a bank in a state and then they would they'd flee to a different state and
Right.
the cops in the state that they robbed the bank in couldn't go across the state lines to arrest him.
Right, and then, you know, you can go to state over and then ain't nobody know you just robbed Kansas' biggest bank.
Yeah, and
then you go to
they didn't like talk back and forth with each other or
right,
anything.
right. I feel like that was kind of the big part of the federal criminal system, you know, just trying to have a system that can encompass over all of the states instead of having to work with each jurisdiction and shit.
Also, what was the head of the FBI at this time? I forget what his name was. He's like really famous for doing shady shit.
Damn. It's on the tip of my tongue. It starts with an M and a P. Damn. Melvin.
No. The head of the FBI.
Wasn't he the head of the FBI?
No, he was the head of the Chicago area.
Samuel Cowley?
J. Edgar Hoover.
Oh, the
That
president.
bitch.
The president.
No.
He ended up becoming the president.
He did?
Yeah, J. Edgar Hoover was the president.
He's a fucking dickhead.
Was that the guy in the movie that kind of had the he had the hair that was just like kind of flat on his head, real short kind of hair?
He was the guy that would meet with
Purvis?
Yes.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. I thought he looked like Edgar Hoover for a second.
He's a fucking dick.
And then I was like, why does bro look so fucking familiar? But that makes so much sense now because like he was given all the
So the
permissions from
actor who
down.
played J. Edgar Hoover is not a dick. I'm saying J. Edgar Hoover as himself is
as
a
a
dick.
person. Okay, fair enough.
Like, yes, he may have started the FBI, but he also started the crackdown on solicited or illegal drugs and fucked over the black community as a whole.
I can understand that.
And he said I've watched so many historical like films and shit and YouTube videos and stuff, and he was part of the era of when they were saying that black people were stealing white women with their drugs and dancing.
Oh,
so
scandalous.
Yeah, but he like started to crack down on weed and made weed like a tier 1 in drug. And the fight against drugs or whatever the fuck it was.
I'm about to say, I remember in the movie he started the war on crime.
Yeah.
And I feel like Reagan was more the war on drugs kind of guy.
But I think he was still head of the FBI when Reagan was around.
Was he really?
I think so, yeah.
That would make so much sense. I don't know anything about the fucking order of the presidents and who all went and did what.
J. Edgar Hoover is such a fucking cunt.
I'm about to say that
as a person.
That makes so much more sense now that I know that I didn't.
Also, I realized that when the FBI was started, it was just like the rich the government kids or the government, like, so say the president had a kid, right?
Uh-huh.
He would send him to the FBI and be like, all right, here's your job for the next 5 years until you could get old enough to run for presidency. And so, like, they would send all these, like, rich little teenagers to go and, like, do whatever the fuck they were doing. I think they were, like, doing, like, files back then until they started the FBI. And then J. Edgar Hoover was like, you know what? Let's make this a police force. And then
call that nepotism.
And then the FBI became what it is. And so it was just a bunch of nepotized children.
The nepotization of children.
Of the presidency and government back
but
then.
yeah, that's pretty much how all fucking politics and anything successful and worthwhile works nowadays. I feel like it's definitely a big problem. But
5 children, they ain't getting shit.
They ain't getting not shit.
They don't
Anyways,
have to work for that shit.
Excuse me.
All right, on and upward.
Onward and upward. In relation to Public Enemies, you wanted to talk a little bit about the 1920s fashion. What did you want to talk about regards to that? I can understand the appeal to it, but as a large man that sweats profusely, not for me, bud.
Bro, I'd rock a suit every day if I could.
If it was practical nowadays.
Well, back then it wasn't as hot as it is nowadays.
Also that, and 9 times out of 10 men worked in offices and
where there was air conditioning. I mean, they didn't have air conditioning back then.
But I mean, still, it was not over a fryer and all day.
And it wasn't 904 degrees outside.
Yeah, it do be hot
every
as
day.
fuck.
But
yeah. Anyways, I always feel nice wearing a suit, man. I always like getting dressed up.
I hate that people see it like that nowadays.
What do you mean?
Like when they see somebody dressed up, they're like, oh, they're either going to a job interview or they like are going to a wedding or they're working a 9 to 5, sitting at a desk. Like back then, anybody would wear that. Anybody and everybody would wear that.
It definitely does seem like a suit and a tie is more of an event kind of.
And I think it's so sad that people like don't walk, like we don't do this anymore. Like that, like they all look joyful in that picture, in my opinion.
Very true.
Like just imagine walking down the road with your friends and you're all dressed up in nice suits and you're gonna go get a coffee down at the corner store with your 5 cents.
Oh, bro, if only, bro. That's a whole nother can of worms we can get into another time. But like cities just aren't walkable anymore. There aren't as many mom and pop businesses as there used to be. There isn't as much sense of community as there used to be. But
bro, they would literally be like, "Hey, yo, Tommy, how you doing?"
"Oh, I'm doing good, Bill. How you doing?"
Exactly. Nowadays, we're just like,
just walk. Homeless man, don't look at him. Walk.
Homeless man, don't look at him. Walk.
That's the title of the episode. Walk. Homeless man, don't look at him.
Walk.
That's a long ass title for that. That's a long title for the episode.
Like, I don't know why. I just love the fashion of the 1920s. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good. I was just getting you in the frame.
I just love the fashion of the 1920s and like how they are.
It's just how simple, but put together it looks.
Yeah.
Everything matches. Everything just looks nice and has a spot.
And also, other than being black, it seemed like a simpler time.
Do what?
Other than being an African American, it seemed like a simpler time.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, I misunderstood what you were saying.
Not everything costs 704 cents or $704.
If something costs 704 cents, that's a fucking steal nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally understand what you're talking about. If it was practical for me to dress in a suit and a tie every day, I'm sure I'd do it in about 4 out of 7 days of the week,
Bro.
But
and I don't know why, but a 2-piece suit, in my opinion, looks like shit when you have a 3-piece suit next to it. 3-piece suits are so much more put together and nice looking than a 2-piece.
I can understand that. I feel like a 3-piece is more for the office, and a 2-piece is more for like a dance or a wedding or something like that.
You mean the other way around? The 2-piece is more for the office. The 3-piece is more for a wedding.
Yeah.
You said it.
Sorry. Yeah. You knew what I was saying.
I
Anyways.
understood what you were saying. I also love these jackets, but I don't think I could pull it off. A 4-button jacket.
Oh, yeah. I'd never had a jacket like that before.
Like, yeah. I mean, I could rock just like a regular jacket, but a 4-button jacket, I don't know if I could rock that.
Also, one of the things that fucking blows my mind is the hat industry.
The hat industry was booming back then.
If you look at any picture from 1940 and before,
like there's another
everybody
picture,
is wearing a hat.
There's another picture on here where there's literally like your mama and your daddy are all wearing hats. This one. Like, look how many hats there are.
That's what I'm saying. Literally everybody in the picture has a hat on. The hat market from the 1940s into the 1950s and 60s just had to, they had to start, just like, oh shit, we're making hats. We're at the top of our game. And then 1960 comes and there's
like nobody wears nice suit hats anymore.
Nobody wears a hat with a suit, period. When was the last time you saw somebody with a hat and a suit?
So for this film that I've been working on, I needed a fedora. You know how fucking hard it is to find a fedora?
Probably a decent excursion to find a fedora
also,
nowadays.
Type in fedora on your phone real quick.
Oh,
because we're going to get into this, because this shit is irritating.
I don't even know how to spell it, apparently.
That is not a fucking fedora.
Hold on, let me see if I can pull up a picture a little bit more clear. Which one's not?
That is not a fedora.
Oh, yeah. Y'all can't see the fucking picture. But that's what we're talking about.
That is not a fedora.
The Band Kid special from 2009.
Not a fedora.
Not a fedora. Is that a fedora?
That is a fedora.
Let's see if I can find a better picture of what he's talking about. Something like this.
That is a fedora.
Oh, where'd it go? There it is.
The other one is not a fedora. The other one is I think it's like a Tim something.
It's a damn Tim hat.
It's like Timbra. It's like a Timbra. Type in Timbra.
Oh, Lord, I don't know how to spell.
That is not how you spell that.
Oh, Lord.
Hat. Or it's Tim something.
Nigga, I don't know. Look it up on your own time. Let's get back to this fucking podcast.
But yeah.
Anyway.
That shit pisses me off. I was looking for a fedora for so long, and that's the shit that I saw. It's not a fucking fedora.
I mean, that is kind of the style of hat that some of the people are wearing in this picture.
But, look, because the fedora we looked at, the whole back was up against the fucking back of the hat. That is not against the back of the hat.
Fair enough.
Neither is that one, or this one, or that one, or that one, or that one.
Interesting.
I'm getting heated about this because this shit irritates the fuck out of me.
Oh, there you go.
I spent 3 fucking months trying to find a goddamn fedora.
That's a better picture. So, which one are you looking for? Are you looking for bro on the right or bro on the left?
Those are both fedoras.
Acceptable?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the Band Kid special from 2000s is not a fucking fedora.
Fair enough. I'll give you that one.
But yeah, anyways, hats are amazing. We need to get back on hats.
I definitely feel like the hat and suit combination, especially,
so fucking nice.
It's such a different level of class,
Also with like these trench coats.
Oh yeah, nobody wears a big coat no more.
I'd nut myself if I saw the dude walking down the street with a trench coat and a hat and a 3-piece suit.
That motherfucker might just pull out the Tommy gun and just
Bro, that motherfucker could get it from me.
Get what?
It.
What's that?
You know.
Tell it to the camera. What's it? What you gonna give him?
I'm joking. But still, like, a trench coat, a 3-piece suit, and a top and a hat, bruh, with some nice shoes. That's game over.
I can understand the appeal to it, but I don't think I could actually do it every single day. You know.
Also, like, can we go back to these cop uniforms?
No.
Why not?
They look like their ancestors hate you. It looks like a Nazi. His coat's a little too long for my liking.
True, but
if your coat goes below your belt, don't talk to me.
Also, like, if I had a trench coat on a 3-piece suit, I would definitely flip the collar.
Oh, you gotta flip the collar if you got the trench coat, dog. You got it.
These motherfuckers need to fix their ties because
that motherfucker look hard as shit. He looked like he killed somebody.
Go over a little bit to the other dude standing.
This guy?
Over this way. Nope, that way. The other way. So slide that way. That guy. He needs to fix his fucking tie.
He needs to fix his everything, bro. He ain't even in
line. That tie is
so
far off, my dude.
All right, enough about this. All right, let's get into the exact opposite of...
Or like suspenders. Suspenders are nice too.
They are very nice.
Like, go back real quick.
Oh my fucking Jesus.
The other one. Other way. That one.
Oh yeah.
Like, look at those. So nice.
They are pretty nice, but then people made belt loops and we have belts now.
I mean, they have belt loops on here. Like, that one has belt loops right there.
No, I don't know.
The only thing I don't like are these pants because they be going up your goddamn cooch.
Yeah, my dress pants can be a little uncomfortable, but
I mean, like, with the dress pants nowadays, they're not that uncomfortable. But like back then, it was like your fucking waistline apparently is right here.
Apparently so. All right. Since we're talking about fashion, into the complete opposite spectrum, I wanted to talk a little bit about Burning Man. Have you heard anything about Burning Man? You keep up with festivals in any capacity?
No.
All right.
What I know is that it's a place where they burn a man-shaped object with women that have their titties out. That's all I know about that.
I mean, you pretty much got it right on the head. Yep. You know what Burning Man is. But Burning Man it's a festival in the middle of Nevada.
Is this guy like trying to dress as somebody? Or is he
just motherfuckers just have the wildest costumes. All right.
That hat needs to go.
So Burning Man it's a festival in Nevada on a just a desert, just in the middle of the desert.
Aren't they doing it with the hurricane?
What you mean?
Like, isn't there a hurricane that's like happening and they're still doing it?
Oh, so that's part of why I wanted to talk about it. So, traditionally Burning Man being in the middle of the desert.
It's in Nevada?
Yeah.
The hurricane hit in Florida.
I'm aware. I'll get there. So traditionally the festival being in Nevada, it's hot as fuck, it's dry as fuck. We're in the middle of the desert. What are you talking about? So this year at the Burning Man festival, the hurricane hit and all of the rain from or all the water from the hurricane rather, got formed into rain, and it ended up like just pouring down rain in the middle of the desert. So everybody and their mom was stuck at Burning Man just in the mud because they couldn't get their car, because it's stuck in wet sand, They can't even get their cars and campers and RVs out of the sand. So everybody was stuck at Burning Man for an extra day. And then they ended up burning the idol or whatever at the end of it, a day and a half late. It was some crazy shit. I must say, I'd never.
That makes no sense, though.
What do you mean? Why doesn't it make no sense?
Because the hurricane hit in Florida. How did it rain in Nevada?
I couldn't tell you. The same way
a really powerful hurricane.
it's the same way that like we get crazy storms whenever the hurricane hits like Massachusetts or something like that. Like we'll get real bad rain and it'll rain for weeks and weeks.
Indiana is bipolar as fuck. We get rain, snow, sleet, hail, summer, winter,
all
fall.
on the same day.
Yeah.
You wake up at 6 o'clock and it's fall.
You might as well just take everything and put it in your car living in Indiana.
Right. You better have the umbrella, snow shovel, rain jacket, swim trunks,
poncho,
flip flops, winter boots.
Like,
just put your
whole closet. Just put
your dresser in your car. Just make your life a little easier.
I don't understand how Indiana is so bipolar like that with weather.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I've lived here long enough. I'm just like, oh, it's fucking sleeting, cool, whatever, you know. Oh, it's on fire now. Yeah, fucking why not? But anyways,
oh fucking why not?
Oh goodness, my neck. I don't know exactly how the rain got caused, but it rained at Burning Man for like 4 or 5 hours, and so everything was just completely soaking wet, sand, and you know you can't drive a car in wet sand. It doesn't really work like that, and that had me thinking.
Like that shit is crazy.
Exactly, it had me thinking. I want to go to one of these things as like a press reporter, man.
Can I just like stand over here with my little house and my little get up and just live there and just watch all this shit happen just to make fun of it?
I don't think it's for sale up there.
But like that is stupid amount of people.
Yeah, it's literally like one of the biggest festivals in the United States. It's fucking crazy. It had me
they're literally burning a wood-shaped man.
I mean, it's a concert, and you know, it's like people come out and perform. It's kind of like Woodstock in the desert type vibes. But anyway, it had me thinking. Excuse me, like how fun would it be to be a reporter at one of these kind of things? You know,
probably not fun.
You just gotta walk around and talk to everybody.
Die of dehydration.
Oh, Nick, you can get some water and shit. Shut the fuck up. But I mean, you know.
Like me and you are two different people. I don't care for big crowds like this.
Oh yeah, me and you were totally different in that regard. Like I look at that and I'm like, holy shit, there's so many different people you could talk to, and you know, just.
I look at that and I'm like,
he's like, no, I'll be over here by myself. It's okay. Y'all can go do that. But it had me thinking, you know, there's kind of like on some. I was watching that.
Are these all little like cities of campers? Just like, are these like all friends, or are they just random people?
Well, I'm guessing they're all friends. You know, you can kind of see how they're a little bit separated from each other. You know,
like separated into like.
Well, I'm guessing
all these little groups. I didn't.
So I'm guessing that I'm guessing that you get your ticket and you rent out a 50 by 50 square. And, you know, all your homies and friends and family can put all their shit in this square, and then you camp it there overnight.
That's a big-ass fucking tent.
Right. I'm about to say, like, you could get all your homies and shit.
Sorry, everybody. I knocked the cord.
It's okay. But you could get all your homies and shit and just get a massive-ass tent, and then, you know, you're just camping with your friends overnight, and then you got music and
I ain't got that many
art
friends.
And... Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying. Just
me and Rodrigo.
Right. I'm going to fuck around. You know, why not? But
in a 50 square foot fucking section. Just two people.
It'd be 250 square foot. Or, I don't know. I'm not good. Don't try to make me do numbers. But yeah, I think, you know, you rent out a however big it is, square, and then you could put all your shit in there, and you know, you camp out in your own square and whatnot. But I'm sure there's all sorts of
Is this where they burn the man?
I would assume so, in the middle.
Just imagine like being there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you could feel the heat and all sorts of shit if you're close enough. But they have people come out and put on concerts and shows, and I'm sure there's all sorts of food and shit to do. People selling all sorts of tchotchkes and shit.
How much do you think water is?
Probably $7.
That's a lot of fucking dollars for water.
Yeah, that's how they get you. I say definitely going to festivals. I was lucky enough. The only festival I went to, they had free water stands, but it was in the middle of the summer, so if you're making motherfuckers pay for water, then somebody's gonna end up passing out of dehydration, and then you got to do a whole bunch of paperwork and pay for an ambulance for them to get to the hospital, and so I feel like a lot of festivals will have like a free water refill station nowadays, but
I just can't see myself being in a crowd that big.
I can understand that.
I don't like people like that. I don't fucks with people like that.
I mean, I could totally understand that, but you gotta think living in like looking at this is essentially looking at a neighborhood of houses. Like you live next to so many people every day, even though you don't see them and interact with them and shit.
How long is this? Which is like 3 days.
I'm sure it's like 3 or 4 days. I'm sure, but I must say I've
At
never
that
really
point,
looked.
I just might as well move out there.
Well, not even. But I've never really looked into going or anything. But it's definitely on my bucket list for festivals. I think in the next coming years, I'm gonna try and go to Bonnaroo or Electric Forest or something like that. But I've always loved the big crowd vibe. I've always loved so many people. Just the energy of a certain place.
Also, like I don't like when I think of festivals. I think of hella drug use and crazy ass motherfuckers.
Well, I mean, I feel like.
So I don't think I would be.
I feel like as much as people portray the festivals to be like motherfuckers just going ham sandwich on drugs and being fucked up and shit, it's not like that, I feel like a lot of times festivals are kind of talked about in the same way as drugs and shit, like motherfuckers are like, oh, you smoke weed and you just be paranoid as fuck and all the bad shit about weed, but they never bring up, like, oh, it's something that's really good for pain management and appetite and a lot of other shit. They kind of bring up the scare points rather than the more enticing points, in my opinion.
I also don't really care for drug use as a person myself.
Well, I mean,
I don't care if you do drugs.
As
as
we were talking about the other week, like nobody's gonna make you do drugs, but like if you wanted to,
be like, yo, Timmy, I got this water bottle. You want it? Sure, I'm thirsty. Take a drink. It's fucking LSD.
But nobody's gonna fucking do you like that. Well, if you're taking drinks off of random ass motherfuckers' water bottles, whose fault is it really? All right, let's start there.
I mean, I did hear about a video though. I was watching a video and this guy was like, "Yeah, this dude drugged me at a festival." He's like, he asked if anybody wanted a water, and we said yeah. So he went to go get the waters. He came back, and he handed them out, and they had LSD spiked in them. I was like, bro.
That's why I don't take drinks off random motherfuckers. Problem solved.
But he went to go get them. He didn't, he bought them from somebody and then brought them back, but spiked them on the way back.
I don't know about that story. It seems kind of fishy. 9 times out of 10, they'll sell you a water bottle, not, just an open cup of water.
Well, it was a water bottle.
Well, if somebody hands me a open water bottle, no, I'm not taking the water bottle. What the fuck?
Most
me fucked up.
Didn't know that it was open, and then
how you not know it was
open?
That doesn't make no sense. Just don't be fucking stupid. That's what I'm saying. Just don't be fucking stupid. Don't be taking random shit from random people that you don't know.
Oh yeah.
Stick with people that you do know. Like, if me and you were to go to a festival, like, I'm not gonna be like, oh fuck, it'd be funny if Theo got drugged and was in a crowd just fucking going ham sandwich. No, I'll be like, I'm worried about you having a good time. I want you to be in control of your time,
Theo
bro.
Going fucking ham sandwich in the crowd.
If I see you on the,
the
just geeked off the beans, just in the crowd, just, I love everybody. I'm like, no.
My underwear.
Somebody got TT. We gotta go. Somebody got to him. We gotta go.
I'm just in my underwear dancing in the crowd. I love you, man.
Bruh, if I ever saw that, I'd be like, nope. They got this man's drink. We gotta go. We gotta go. One of y'all is not cool. Fuck off. Whoever it was, fuck you. But we gotta go. All right. We're almost at time. We're gonna kick the episode off with. All right,
Was
if
there
you could,
some other stuff you want to talk about?
we do. This is the last thing I was going to talk about. If you could travel
Oh yeah.
to any time period in the world, not in the world, in time, rather, where would you time travel to?
1920s.
Why?
Without racism.
All right, as is. What time
As
period?
is?
Yeah.
Oh God. As is, we're gonna have to go like my early years. Wait, so like, do I go there as I am now, or do I go there?
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
That?
No. So you don't go back to 2002 when you're a baby.
fuck.
No. You go back to 2002 and you're Theo from right now.
All right. So
Mm-hmm.
my plan would be the time travel device to travel to the future just to see what it's like. Turn around and say, "Fuck that shit." Travel back all the way to like 1990.
Turn your mic so the letters.
1990.
There you go.
Did you hear the
1990?
first part?
No, go. Say it again. I'm gonna say your audio was really
My bad.
quiet. Say it again.
So, I'd take the time travel device, travel to the future.
Right.
Turn
how
around.
how far in the future are we going?
5,
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30,
1,000 years
1,000. Wow.
into the future.
Into 3023.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a long fucking time.
Say fuck this shit. Turn that bitch back around. Go back to like the 1990s, 1970s, 80s, somewhere in there.
Uh-huh.
But if I could go back and change some stuff, I'd want to go back to the 1920s. Just to see what it's like. And maybe also live there if racism wasn't a real thing there during that time.
If you could go back to like one historical moment, what would you go and see?
The founding of America.
Interesting.
So like George Washington time.
Hell yeah. Sorry, I keep fucking hitting the table.
Just because like I feel like it would be cool just to like walk around with George Washington and just be like, sup? And then just like go to his house and walk around and be around people that like live in that time period instead of going there and being like, this is where he used to live. This is where he used to do his studies. Like, I know that, but like, I feel like it'd just be more, because like living in a house just normally, it's so much different than like after you die and somebody turns your house into a museum. Because like there'd be so much different going on,
right?
Different
Just
stuff going on.
The happenings inside the house would be so much different than they are today.
Yeah,
I can totally understand that. I feel like if I first, all right, so if I could time travel to any time,
yeah.
I'm going to Woodstock.
69, 99.
69.
He said
Okay.
60.
I'm not trying to die. I'm trying to die on drugs. Okay. But no.
I'm not trying to die. I'm trying to die on drugs.
But no, I feel like Woodstock was just such a pivotal moment in music and culture and just the history of America as a country. You know, it was a time where people were really fighting against civil rights and stuff. You know, people were, you know, just starting to be seen as equal in America. It was quite the formative experience in my opinion. And, you know, get to see Hendrix and Santana and Janis Joplin and all that.
2-hour long national anthem.
Oh yeah, bro. I would have been standing there the whole time just ba-ding ding ding ba-ding ding ding just the whole time. I'd have been just chilling. But if I could see any historical moment, I'm going to when the Great Pyramids were starting to be built. I want to see how the fuck that happened. I want to know.
He's just standing there just like, really? You guys could have done it so much easier.
I just want to know how the fuck they did it. Like, there's
what
a
about
lot
like
of
the circle of rocks? I forget what that's fucking called.
Easter Island?
No,
Or are
the
you
circle
talking
of
about,
rocks where they like fucking have them like Tetris pieces or.
The goddamn
forget
nigga. I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember exactly.
You don't want to see that being built?
No, the pyramids are just so fucking massive, and there's 3 of them. Like, how do you do something that big 3 fucking times?
Horses,
but
ramps.
You got to think. Okay, so all right, we're gonna get into a whole fucking conspiracy. All right, we're gonna get into a whole conspiracy if I fucking start talking about this too much.
You think
but some. Let me talk. There's some of the stones that are in the Great Pyramids were cut from a quarry that's like 5,000 miles away from the pyramids. So like these tons and tons and tons of rocks were transported thousands of miles to the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
For what?
Why?
Built. Why?
To build the pyramids.
Why a pyramid? I know to build the pyramids, motherfucker, but why are we building the pyramids in the first place? I want to know why they're there. I want to know how they got them there. And I want to know, like, what was the purpose of building these pyramids?
Well, you have to think then, again, they had slaves
to
help them build that stuff. They also had horses and oxes to help pull and push.
I understand all that, but when you think about it, just geometrically at a mathematical standpoint, like if you set one of those bricks 2 inches to the right, it doesn't come to a point at the top. If you set anything like the pyramids are the perfectness of the earth. Like the earth is in perfect harmony with itself. The pyramids are like there's nothing wrong with the shape of the pyramid.
Also, like,
and it's hundreds and hundreds of feet tall. Like it's fucking massive. It's one of those things that like you can't comprehend how big it is until you're like there, you know. It's like it's a fucking mountain of stone in the middle of the desert.
Also, what about like the Mayan pyramids? Because those are probably as big as the pyramids.
I mean, I can understand the interest to all of those, but I feel like I don't know. I've just heard so much about the Great Pyramids in Egypt, and I feel like those are like the most prominent ones, especially in today's culture. Like, why were the pyramids? All right, so I have like 4 major questions. Why were the pyramids built? How were the pyramids built? Why are they like? Why is it such a big thing still today? And I already said why.
It's more of a big thing because
3 questions.
It's more of a big thing today because we can't figure out why or how they made
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it fucking blows my mind that we just like, yep, the pyramids are there. We have them. That's it. Nobody's like, why are they here? What was it made for? Like, it's one of those things that's like, nobody is interested in this. This is fucking crazy. Why is nobody talking about this?
I feel like there's like so many architectural achievements in the world though, because like you got the pyramids, you got the railroad that goes across America that goes through fucking mountains. Like,
well, I get that.
You know how long that would take to build?
I get that, but we know how we made the railroad system. We know how we got from east to west, you know, like we know how these things happen and why they happen. But like literally none of the people today could tell you why the pyramids were built. Like, what was the purpose of building 3 giant ass pyramids that are in perfect alignment with each other, in perfect alignment with the stars? Like it's fucking ridiculous. It's crazy. Like, we know we built the railroads. We know we gold mined because it was profitable and because we needed to get to the west. Like, we had all this country that wasn't being, you know.
And like in the Mayan pyramids, they have. It's about as big as the pyramids, I believe. The regular, like, Egyptian pyramids, I think the Mayans are about as big as those.
I couldn't tell you.
But I think it's just a lot of, like, I feel like us as humans are overthinking why and how they were built. Because humans for years have been using each other to build things and using animals to build things.
Very true.
And, like, humans and animals working together can move a lot of shit.
It's very true, but I don't know. It's one of those things that, like, the more you read about it, the more it doesn't seem like.
Also,
like the fact that we can't recreate it today. I'm like, how the fuck can we not recreate this? We have excavators, we have fucking skyscraper, fucking cranes. Like, how the fuck can we not do this today? It doesn't make sense how we can't do it today, but they did it whenever the fuck it was, thousands and thousands of years ago.
I also think, like, it's just, like, us as humans have also had
What?
Like, so they believe that the Egyptians built these pyramids for spiritual reasons, because they buried Egyptian kings and queens, and
Right.
people, popular people,
Right, pharaohs
of the
and
era, yeah, in these tombs, or in these tombs underneath the pyramid.
Correct.
And so what I think would be a logical reason as to why they were built is because it was a spiritual reason. As in, because people have different ways of seeing spirituality, and I believe that the Egyptians had this spiritual thought that if they built these pyramids, that it would shoot whomever's soul up into the air, into whatever land they believed in. Because it's like, I understand, like, it was difficult to make, but with enough determination and enough, like, fortitude to, like, be like, we need to make this perfect for the pharaoh, or we need to make this perfect for Hamugagasha, who's the king, who's the god of whatever the fuck.
Damn.
So I believe that they, like, yes, it would have been hard. Yes, it would have been a lot more difficult than most anything that they did. But I believe they put so much fortitude and preparation and building into it that they just made them. And then we never figured out why or exactly what the reason was for making them.
See, I can understand exactly what you're saying, 100%. But I just don't feel like a pharaoh would be that important to the culture to where you have to build this gigantic fucking monolith for this
but
one
maybe
person.
Maybe it wasn't for the pharaoh. Maybe it was for God Hamashalakfa.
Damn. I didn't know that was God. Is that his government name?
Sure. That was up in... Maybe it was for the gods, not for the pharaohs, but they saw the pharaohs as gods.
As like a connection to God.
Yeah, so they saw the pharaohs as God, or as godlike. So they buried the pharaohs in the tombs because they wanted them to reach God, or whoever the fuck they wanted.
I can see what you're saying. I see the theory you're laying out.
So it was just like a rail gun for spirits.
Okay.
Basically, is what I'm thinking. Because they also says that on each of the pyramids they had gold encrusted, or like gold tips on them.
Uh-huh.
And so I think that was like a symbolism to, like, they're leaving this realm of Earth to go to whatever realm is heaven or hell to them.
All right, before we end this podcast, I'm gonna say the reason why the tops were gold. Okay, so,
and I also understand how difficult that would fucking be to put that on top.
Yeah, I'm gonna say gold's heavy and it was
gold
gigantic.
thing that's like a fucking
A giant gold square.
a giant gold triangle.
Triangle.
Pyramid.
The pyramid is a square from the top.
It was a square triangle.
I get what you're saying.
But
a smaller pyramid for the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of all gold, that shit would be heavy as fuck.
Okay, so the reason why it was gold is because when we were lower primates, aliens came down, gave us the mushrooms, right? And they were like, hey, go get this gold, bro. We need some gold to get back home. And then everybody was like, oh, shit, digging up gold. You know? And
I also kind of want to go back to that time when humans got their first, like, inkling of...
Oh, just consciousness
Yeah.
whenever the human being, like, as we know it, was created.
Was just conscious.
That would be fucking cool.
Like, imagine just, like, standing there and just watching an ape go, I know who I am.
My name is Tim. What the fuck? Ron, do you see this? And Rhonda's like, and then Tim's like, here, eat this, Rhonda. And she's like,
I'm Rhonda.
what the fuck was I just saying? Tim, put some clothes on, Tim. What the fuck?
But
Why
yeah,
are my
like,
tits out?
just imagine, like, standing there and watching that happen.
Yeah, that would be fucking crazy as shit too. I don't know. But anyways, we're way past the time limit on the podcast. I want to say one more time, thank you for subscribing to the Two Tone Podcast. Wow, I can't speak English. But anyways, wanted to say thank you one more time. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. It's a free way to show us you appreciate what we're doing. Shouts out to Kyle Baston for being the OG. Shouts out for the Friends with Differences podcast. Shouts out TT's YouTube channel, youtube.com/@GlassHouseFilms8. Hit him up on Instagram @GlassHouseFilms8 if you're interested in being in any of his movies, production, anything, you know that you could think of movie wise. And last but certainly not least, I released the EP a few months ago. Unfuckswittable. Go fuck with it. We appreciate y'all. And this has been
the Two Tone Podcast.